All right, I am going to talk a little bit about feedback, and specifically, I want to talk about reinforcing feedback. And what that means is, let's say you have a stock of something, could be money in a bank. This one's an easier one to think about. And it used to be, when I was a kid, that if you put money in the bank, you would collect interest, so that over time, the amount in the bank would get bigger at a rate of, let's say, maybe 3% or something like that. It was great. You get an extra few dollars in your account each month. It doesn't happen now. The interest rates are in most savings accounts are incredibly small, so you barely see anything, if you see anything at all. But you could put money in something else that gets a fixed amount of interest over a period of time, usually not a regular savings account, but some sort of investments, things like that. The way this works is that, as far as a causal loop, it would be that if you have more money in the bank, you'd get more interest, which means you get more money in the bank, so there'd be a positive sign on both parts of that. So that's how we draw the causal loop for it. Now let's think about what would happen if we want to draw it as a stock and flow diagram, like what Meadows talks about in chapter 1. So she draws it like this. So you have money in the bank, which is coming from the cloud in this case, because we're not looking at that, we're only looking at the amount that's actually in the bank. And we actually have feedback that controls this, and that feedback is written like this. It's often written as a little converter. I'm going to erase this part right here, draw a circle. Interesting. Sorry about that. I'll just call it interest. Make that a little bit cleaner. And she has it like this, I believe. She has interest, and she also has an interest rate separately. The idea being that you have a fixed interest rate, you have money in the bank, it accumulates however much money is associated with however much interest you're going to get. That interest is determined by the interest rate, which is would be another converter, which would be over here. These are things that are not flows or stocks, but they give you information you need to control the size of a stock or a flow. And that would then control the amount that's going back into the bank, which would cause more interest to form, and you'd get more money in the bank. And it would keep going like that, such that this thing increases. But we want to know how it increases. Is it going to increase like this? Is it going to increase like this? Is it going to increase like this? How is the money in the bank going to increase as a function of time in each of these cases? That's what we're going to talk about in the next slide.